You've been told that craving sugar means you have no discipline. That's wrong. Your body isn't broken. It's doing exactly what kept your ancestors alive for 2 million years. The problem isn't your willpower. The problem is that the famine your body is preparing for ended 10,000 years ago, and nobody told it. Right now, sitting under your skin, you're carrying roughly 100,000 calories of stored fat. That's not an accident. That's not laziness. That's the single most successful survival technology your body ever built. And it's still running. In 1962, geneticist James Neal looked at a strange pattern showing up across populations that had survived repeated famines and proposed something that would later be called the thrifty gene hypothesis. Bodies that stored fat aggressively, that clung to every spare calorie the moment it arrived, survived famines that killed the people who didn't. Starvation wasn't a metaphor back then. It was a real, physical countdown that ended in death, over and over, for every generation that came before you. Over thousands of generations, the hoarding trait won. Every single person alive today is descended from the hoarders. Not the moderate eaters, the hoarders. Here's what that actually means for you, sitting in a kitchen with a refrigerator that has never once been empty. Your body cannot tell the difference between there's a grocery store 2 minutes away and the next meal might not come for 4 days. It never had to learn that difference because for most of human history, there was no difference. Food showed up unpredictably, in feast or famine bursts, and the body that survived was the one that treated every feast like it might be the last one for a while. Look at almost any other animal that survives real, seasonal scarcity, and you'll see the same trick, just running on a different schedule. A bear doesn't diet in September. It eats up to 20,000 calories a day, deliberately, aggressively, packing on fat it will burn slowly through an entire winter of hibernation. Nobody calls a bear undisciplined for gorging itself before winter. It's the plan. Your body is running a version of that exact same plan. Except your winter never comes. It just keeps packing on fuel for a season that ended before recorded history began. That's not a metaphor either. That's literally what a calorie surplus does inside you. The moment you eat more than you need, insulin shuttles the extra straight into fat cells, and those cells lock the door behind it. Releasing that fat back out requires the body to believe, at a hormonal level, that a famine has actually started. Your fat cells are not neutral storage units. They are guards, and they were trained by 2 million years of near misses to never let go of anything without a very good reason. This is where leptin comes in, a hormone discovered in 1994, whose entire job is to tell your brain how much stored fat you're carrying. In theory, more fat should mean more leptin, which should mean your brain tells you to eat less. In practice, chronically high leptin levels, the kind that come from carrying excess fat for years, cause the brain to stop listening to the signal entirely. Scientists call this leptin resistance. Your brain, staring directly at a full fuel tank, genuinely believes it's running on empty, starving in plain sight of abundance. Not because the signal isn't there, because the ancient wiring receiving that signal was never built to interpret constant abundance as anything other than a glitch. Then there's a real population that proves it, and it's not a lab, it's a town. The Pima people of Arizona carry some of the highest rates of thrifty gene-linked obesity and diabetes ever recorded in a human population. Once their traditional diet of unpredictable desert agriculture was replaced by consistent, calorie-dense modern food in the mid-22nd century. Genetically related Pima communities still living a more traditional lifestyle across the border in Mexico show dramatically lower rates of both. Same genes, same ancient thrifty programming. Completely different outcome, depending entirely on whether the environment around those genes still looks like scarcity or now looks like permanent abundance. So the craving you feel at 9 p.m., standing in front of an open pantry for no reason you can name, isn't a character flaw showing up on schedule. It's a 2 million-year-old alarm system doing its job perfectly in a world that stopped needing that alarm 10,000 years ago and never sent the memo. Then there's stress. This one's sneaky. Cortisol, the hormone your body releases under sustained stress, doesn't just raise your heart rate. It specifically signals your body to store more visceral fat and to crave dense, calorie-rich food while doing it. To an ancient nervous system, stress didn't mean a bad email. It meant a predator, a raid, a starving season closing in. Danger meant a famine or a fight might be coming, and the correct response, evolutionarily, was to eat calorie-dense food immediately and store as much of it as possible, just in case the stress was the first sign of a bad season ahead. Your body still runs that exact same protocol today, whether the danger in question is a predator or a work deadline. It cannot tell them apart. It was never asked to. Then there's sleep. Lose a single night of it, and ghrelin, the hormone that signals hunger, rises sharply the very next day, while leptin, the fullness signal, drops. Researchers studying this consistently find that tired bodies crave more calories, and specifically crave denser, faster fuel, not because you're weak, but because an exhausted ancestor facing a bad night's rest was, on average, facing a genuinely harder, more dangerous day ahead, one that might demand more energy reserves just to survive it. Your body still runs that calculation today, even when the dangerous day ahead is just back-to-back meetings. Now, the honest counterpoint, because mainstream nutrition science doesn't treat this as the whole story. Modern food itself isn't neutral in this equation either. Highly processed food is specifically engineered through combinations of sugar, fat, and salt that almost never occur together in nature to override normal fullness signals entirely. Some researchers argue the ancient thrifty gene wiring is only half the problem, and the other half is that we built an entire food industry around exploiting exactly that wiring on purpose. Both things are true at once. Your body is running ancient software, and the modern world is specifically designed to find every remaining bug in it. Which brings up the stranger question underneath all of this. If the thrifty gene hypothesis is right, then every single person alive today is the descendant of the most efficient hoarders who ever lived, dropped into the first environment in 2 million years of human history with functionally unlimited food. We didn't evolve for this world. We evolved for the opposite of it, and we got here in a blink, a few hundred years, against a backdrop of 2 million years of scarcity-shaped biology that had no time to catch up. Some researchers think the obesity and diabetes epidemics of the last century aren't a modern failure of discipline at all. They're the sound of ancient survival machinery, tuned with extreme precision for a world of scarcity, meeting a world of permanent abundance for the very first time, and doing exactly what it was built to do. So the next time you stand in front of an open fridge at 9 p.m., craving something you don't need, remember what's actually happening. That's not you failing. That's a 2 million-year-old alarm system, still fully operational, still waiting for a famine that ended 10,000 years ago, still trying to save your life from a threat that no longer exists. Your body isn't broken. It's just still listening for a signal nobody sent in 10,000 years.